This guy right here is not happy. On the plus side, I did a watch party tonight for the game. I'm sure parts of that live stream is gonna make for some good content. So at least there's that, right? This was brutal. This was absolutely brutal. They were cruising. They were looking great. They had a 3-0 lead and they blew it. And they lost 5-3 in regulation. So, like the last video, for the Columbus game, it's going to be a shorter review. I didn't take any notes. And I'm recording this video like right after I ended my stream, basically. So, to that, what I will say is thank you once again to everybody who came out to the watch party tonight. There were a lot of you, and I really do appreciate it. As far as the game goes, though, oh man, this team. Oh, this team. Game 50 of the season was played on Thursday, January 22nd in Nashville against the Predators. It was an 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern start time, and this was the second and final meeting of the season between these two teams, thankfully, because the Sens go 0-2 against them. Nashville also did win 4-1 in Ottawa on October 13th, so I'm glad we're done with them for the season. Anyways, starting goalies, James Reimer for the Sens, UC Saros for the Predators. Sens were 23-19-7 coming into tonight, and the Predators were 23-22-4 coming into tonight. And let's just get into the stats and then I'll ramble. Alright, so let's get into the stats here. There is one thing that stands out for sure amongst everything else. So Nashville wins by a score of 5-3. Sens had a 3-0 lead. And the Sens are now 23-20-7. Nashville is 24-22-4. And the shots were even, 26 apiece. Look at the face-off percentage. It doesn't matter, does it? 71.7% for the Sens. It's wonderful, I guess. 28.3% for the Predators. And here is one of your major differences. The Sens do not score on their power play. They are 0-3. And their penalty kill goes 3-5. Nashville's power play was 2-5. And it could have been worse. It very well could have been worse. Penalty minutes, 12 for the Sens, 8 for Nashville. The hits were 23-16 in favor of Nashville. Block shots were 11-9 in favor of the Sens. 18 giveaways for the Predators and 13 for the Sens. And the takeaways were 6-4 in favor of the Predators. And as mentioned, these two teams will not play again this season. Thankfully, because the Sens went 0-2 against them. So again, the Sens had a 3-0 lead, and they were kind of cruising. So we'll go through the scoring summary. Again, I don't have any notes because I did a live watch party for it, so you can get my whole reaction, and there's going to be some good stuff in that stream, I'm sure. But anyways, so the Sens would... Oh, I should mention as well, David Perron is out 5 to 7 weeks with, I think it was a hernia, which has been bothering him for a while. So he has to have surgery on that, unfortunately. So he's going to be out for a while. And taking his place was Stephen Halliday, which I'm a fan of. I've been a fan of the way he's been playing. So Halliday would end up opening the scoring with his first career NHL goal. So that goal comes at the 6:03 mark, and Eller and Nick Cousins draw the assists. So the Sens go up 1-0. So I'm like, okay, this is good. And, There's really not too much going on. The Sens at the first period, especially, it really felt a lot like the last game against Columbus. They just weren't really giving up a whole lot. And then Greg would score at the 14-19 mark of the first period, his 8th of the season from Amadio and Sanderson, and this would make it 2-0 Sens. So we go into the first intermission, we're up 2-0, and we're feeling pretty good. The shots were 11-7 Sens. They're not giving up too much. But I said it, I don't know how many times during the live stream, even when they were up 3-0, do not get your hopes up with this team. Don't do it. Just don't. And I didn't. So we roll into the second period, and Dylan Cousins would score at the 10:46 mark, his 16th of the season. It was a nice deflection there from Zub and Sanderson, and the Sens go up 3-0. And still to this point, the Sens are playing great. They haven't allowed a goal yet. But then they would take a penalty. I forget which penalty they got into a lot of penalty trouble, as you can see by the 5 power plays Nashville had. But they would take a penalty late in the second period, and Stamkos would score on the power play at the 18:34 mark of the second period from Evangelista and Forsberg. This would make it 3-1. Now, when this goal went in, I was still thinking, in my opinion, I still thought the Sens were playing pretty good. They were. But that power play goal really went to the legs of the Predators, and you could see it immediately. So we go into the second intermission, and I'm still feeling kind of like, they're still playing pretty decently, but you could see them start to pick up momentum after that power play goal. So the shots in that second period were 10-10. And the third period, the Sens looked horrible in the third period. Absolutely horrible. Because you see the score, it was 3-1 Sens going into the third period. Yeah, they looked awful in that period. Terrible. So Marchessault would score at the 8:19 mark from Bunting and Evangelista, and I could just feel it. You can feel it coming, right? Less than 2 minutes later, at the 10:07 mark, Stamkos would score again, because Stamkos was everywhere tonight on the power play. Another power play goal from O'Reilly and Yossi, and this would tie the game. And at this point, I said this I don't know how many times during the live stream tonight, just please get it to overtime. Just at least get it to overtime, right? They couldn't even do that. Nope. Why could they? Why would they? Why should they? And this stings for so many reasons. With 18:47 into the period, we have a minute and 13 left to play in regulation. And Stamkos would score with a minute 13 remaining to put Nashville up 4-3. It's terrible. So O'Reilly and Blankenberg draw the assist there. That's the hat trick for Stamkos. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. This team is so freaking fragile. I can't get over it. I just can't get over it. Like I've said this before in videos, and I'm going to say it again here, but they just look young. Like, yes, there are a lot of young players in the league in general, but my God, it's just... what can you even say? Right? So Cole Smith would end up getting an empty netter at the 19:33 mark from Haula and O'Reilly, and 5-3 is your final. 5-3 is your final. So first star of the game, well, we all know who that is. It's Stamkos, obviously. He had a hat trick. So why wouldn't it be him? And then Evangelista was the second star of the game with 2 assists, and Marchessault was the third star of the game with a goal. 4 goals in the third period for Nashville. Just an absolute meltdown, complete meltdown by the Sens. 4 goals on 9 shots in the third period for Nashville. The Sens had 5 shots in the third period. Like, anyways, we'll look at the box score. I don't even know what to say about this, man. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to do all the forward stats and then all the defense stats. I feel like that'd be a little bit easier. So for forwards, Nick Cousins, Amadio, and Eller all had 1 assist. Dylan Cousins, Greg, and Halliday all had a goal. For the plus minus, we got Stützle was the only -3 apparently. Batherson was -2. Kachuk, Zetterlund, and Giroux were all -1. Then Eller, Halliday, Dylan Cousins, Nick Cousins, and Greg Greg was +2. Everyone else I mentioned was +1. Time on ice leader was Stützle with 2019. And shots, a lot of guys had 3 shots apparently. Stützle, Dylan Cousins, Greg, Halliday, and Eller all had 3 shots. And then Stützle and Dylan Cousins had 1 block, which led forwards. Dylan Cousins had the most hits with 4. So now we'll go to the defense stats. Point getters, Sanderson had 2 assists. Zub had 1 assist. Plus minus, Zub and Jensen were +1. Clevin was -1, and everyone else was even. Time on ice leader was Sanderson, played 25-39. And Sanderson led the defense in shots with 3. Jensen led the defense in blocks with 3. And Clevin had the most hits with 2. And Reimer, hey, this is what we're used to seeing, right? So Reimer stops 21 out of 25 for an .840 save percentage. I don't I don't know how much I can blame him on any of the goals, to be honest. Like, okay, one was an empty netter. There was the one that was a cross crease one-timer by Stamkos. What are you supposed to do there? I don't know how much I blame Reimer tonight. Like that, it was a complete team meltdown in the third period. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm feeling pretty annoyed. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like, Nashville is a team that's not in a playoff spot. You had a 3-0 lead. And again, they allowed that goal with how much time was left? When Stamkos made it 3-1. So they had a 3-0 lead with about a minute and a half left in the second period, and they blew it to a team that's not even in a playoff spot. So I don't know. I hope this is just like I would say I hope it's just like a one-off, but we've seen them blow leads very recently, so I don't know. Not too sure what to say about this one. You had to have this in a league where every team in the Atlantic Division is winning every single night, it seems, and you can't come out even with 1 point. So this was terrible, absolutely terrible. So moving forward here, the Sens' next game will be against Carolina. Now there is good news and bad news if you're a Sens fan. The good news is they are now on a 4-game homestand. The bad news is who they're facing. You got Carolina, Vegas, Colorado, and New Jersey on this 4-game homestand. Those are not easy opponents. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Saturday, January 24th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern start time. And I will also mention here as well, so out of those 4 games for the homestand, the only one I plan on doing a watch party for is the Colorado game, because it's easier for me to do watch parties on weekdays, so that can make for some good content too against the Avalanche. But yeah, this was an ugly one. Brutal way to lose this. Just a complete meltdown in the third period by the Sens. And they fall 5-3 to Nashville. And that's pretty much it, eh? Anyways, I am going to wrap it up here, guys. So we'll see what they can do on on Saturday against Carolina. It's not going to be an easy one. So, of course, on their 3-game road trip that they just had, they go 1-1-1, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and go Sens go.